Given how panicked Donald Trump seems, and with reports of pressure coming from the White House against Republicans who might vote to make the Epstein files public, you'd think they would send out their strongest voices to try to spin this story. But that's not what happened. Instead, they put forward Stephen Miller, who had a complete meltdown on Fox News, unraveling on live television while the Epstein scandal grows and while questions about Trump's health are louder than ever. We're going to break it all down, but before we do, if you could take a moment to like this video, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It really helps support our work. Now, before we dive into the disaster that was Stephen Miller's appearance, I want to start with the two issues he was clearly trying to cover up: Donald Trump's health and the Epstein scandal, something Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett called out directly.
Make no mistake, Trump is weaponizing his idea of free speech to force folks and companies to become his political puppets to promote his propaganda. Trump and Republicans defunded NPR because they argued it was biased. Trump has removed books discussing racial discrimination at U.S. military academies, including the amazing Maya Angelou's autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. He's tried to strip funding to schools across the country if they don't remove materials that include discussions of racial discrimination or that promote diversity. And in order for the merger between Paramount and Skydance to happen, the FCC chairman and Republican-appointed commissioners required Skydance to establish a bias monitor. And in its FCC order noted reports, quote, concerning negative media coverage of the Trump administration. This is to say nothing of Trump pushing television networks to get rid of comedians and talk show hosts who criticize his administration, say like Mr. Colbert. Let's call this what it is. It's Trump weaponizing the idea of free speech to force people, institutions, and companies to be his mouthpieces. This ain't free speech, it's propaganda. Meanwhile, my Republican colleagues are out here having a meltdown over the European bill, one that, by the way, includes provisions to fight child trafficking. You know, it's frustrating because we talk about being fiscally responsible and we talk about free speech. And right now, as we're having these discussions, you know who's trying to shut down members from voting in the way that they want to vote? It's the president, who literally said he would look at anyone who decided that they were going to vote to release the Epstein files as hostile. That sounds like a threat as it relates to all First Amendment protections, in addition to the fact that it's literally contravening our constitutional duty that we swore an oath to, because we don't swear to an orange king. Instead, we have sworn an oath to the Constitution, and we were elected to represent the people that elected us. Thank you so much, and I'll yield.
It's impossible to ignore just how far Donald Trump has gone to try to distract the mainstream media and shift attention away from the Epstein files. He even pushed Congress to adjourn early, with Speaker Mike Johnson once again doing whatever Trump demanded, shutting down the House simply to avoid this topic. But now, Congress is back in session, and guess what the focus is? Jeffrey Epstein. And here's Trump's bigger problem. It's no longer just a handful of Republicans speaking out. That number is growing every single day, breaking apart Trump's grip on his base. At the same time, his health issues are becoming harder to deny, something even Democratic governors like Tim Walz are calling out. And when those questions collided with the Epstein scandal, it led to Stephen Miller's public meltdown on Fox News.
We are strong because we challenge each other. We are strong because we're held accountable. We're strong because we believe that there's a place for everyone here. Think of how easy it would be to be a damn Republican. Oh, what should I wear today? This stupid friggin' red hat. What should I say today? I don't know. Just make sure it's cruel. Who do we listen to? That guy. Oh, the felon in the White House? Yeah, listen to him and that will be fine. Now he's talking about burning flags. He's going to have flag burning or whatever. Because he knows there's a hell of a lot of flags with his picture on it that are going to get burned. There's a whole lot of that kind of crap that people are sick of. And I have to tell you, we can have our internal decision-making, our internal healthy debates, But I refuse to believe we do not have the luxury to fight amongst ourselves why that thing sits in the White House.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
Governor Tim Walz made two powerful points. First, something we've always known, MAGA operates like a cult. They fall in line with whatever Donald Trump says or does, except interestingly, when it comes to the Epstein scandal, where cracks are starting to show. Second, Walz hinted at what could be considered good news, though I'll be careful here with how I phrase it. Let's just say questions about Donald Trump's health continue to grow louder, and that reality has the former president's team on edge. In fact, it was exactly those concerns that set off Stephen Miller's full-scale meltdown on Fox News, where he was visibly unraveling. Take a look.
What is your reaction to the likes of Kimmel, Colbert, Jen Psaki, Tim Walz, etc.?
Where do you even begin with these morons, Sean?
That's a good question. Would you like me to answer that? You want to be the host? We'll reverse roles here.
President Trump has done more press conferences, more interviews, more transparency, more public accessibility, more hours and hours with the press. He live streams his cabinet meetings for nearly 4 hours. There's no human being in the history of politics who has made themselves more available to the press and the public than President Trump, or who has demonstrated more stamina in public life. I can tell you that every single person who works for him in the White House is outworked by him. He is the first one to call us in the morning, in the early hours of the morning. He is the last one to call us far past midnight on every single work project, whether it's trade, whether it's national security, whether it's the border, whether it's crime, whether it's public safety, whether it is making our cities beautiful again, whether it is making our government responsive, whether it's improving the workforce, whether it is dealing with the need for cheaper housing. You pick the issue. He's on top of it 24/7.
If Donald Trump is really the so-called first guy in, last guy out, then why did he disappear for nearly 5 days? Stephen Miller? And if this is truly the most transparent and accessible administration in history, then why is it still so difficult to access the Epstein files? Every talking point they try to push collapses under the slightest scrutiny. Honestly, they make it too easy. Trump and his team can try as hard as they want. They can send out as many surrogates as they like, but they can't spin their way out of two major realities: the growing questions about Trump's health and the ongoing Epstein scandal. And that's exactly why we're going to keep talking about both. Others in the media are doing the same, like Lawrence O'Donnell, who just spoke with one of Epstein's survivors tonight. Let's take a look.
Much for telling us your story today at the Capitol. I know you've had some time since then, and I'm just wondering if there's anything you would like to add to what you said today.
I would say what I want to add from today was to let everyone know how hard that was for all of us today to speak up when we shouldn't have had to. I was a minor. I was 14 years old when these acts happened against me and my survivor sisters, a lot of us. And the fact that we had to stand in front of Congress today and speak our truth was such a powerful thing, but also in the same sense was something that we should have never had to have done. If the government would have done their job in the beginning of this, none of us would have had to come forward and put our face to this. And I don't think it's fair that in order for us to get attention to this case, that my 14-year-old self has to put myself publicly at 37 years old out.
And I so agree with you, Jenna Lisa, and I'm sorry that you've had to go through what you've had to go through this week, and it is unthinkable what you went through at age 14. You're not the only one who met Jeffrey Epstein at age 14, and as you know so much about this evidence against him. How long were you involved with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell?
I was involved with them long enough for them to do the damage. And I think that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how many times you went, if you went multiple times, if you were involved for years or not. The damage was done the first time the abuse started.
It is so important that we continue centering the voices of the survivors of Epstein's abuse. At the end of the day, this story is about them, their fight for justice, and protecting people in the future from the same failures of a broken system. For decades, a two-tiered system of justice allowed powerful figures like Epstein, Donald Trump, and their associates to escape accountability. That cannot continue. And while survivors fight for the truth, Trump has shown time and time again that he only treats this issue as a political tool. He doesn't care about transparency. He doesn't care about the Epstein files. He only cares about how he can use them for his own advantage. That has to be called out, and we're going to keep doing exactly that. We'll wrap it up here. But if you want to support this work, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I will see you soon.